All right, so we are going to solve let's solve for y. So solve this for y. We need to get our y alone. Careful with the signs though, like make sure your signs are okay. Should be subtracting the number because it's possible, right? Yeah, so make sure you're careful as you're moving those over. You want to simplify as much as you can. You can actually simplify quite a bit on this one. Careful, those aren't like terms. We can't put those together. And you should be subtracting it because this is a positive. So you do minus, same thing there, but don't put those together because they're not alike. And see if you can simplify it all. Yep, you got it. That's it. Super close. The only thing is you're dividing by a negative 2 here. So what happens there? Negative divided by a negative. So then just, yep, that's it. You got it. Oh, you caught the negative. Only thing is 18. It's fine. Okay. Yeah, you got it. Good job. Now that can be simplified. You can divide those each by a negative 2. So go one step further. You're good, except somehow you lost like your negative in this. So this is a negative 2. And we have to move this 18 over, so we're going to subtract 18 here. So there's a few little negative things to be careful about. Okay, so once you divide by 2, the 2's gone. But I think you lost a sign somewhere. So I think something should be, you're good. I think this one. Alright, so again, we can't put these two together because they're not like terms. So we're just going to write in like 26 minus 18x. Because they're not alike. And now you're going to divide them each by 2, except it's actually a negative 2. So you're going to divide by a negative 2 on both sides. Yeah, so you go a step further. You got it. I remember I saw it already. Got it. I see yours already. Did you find one that works? No, but brown one bad? You guys should throw them out if they're really bad markers. Figure out the negatives and positives. So when you divide these each by negative 2, this will become negative 13. And then this one, 2 negatives and you get positive, and it's going to be 18 over 2, which is 0. So. Only think you lost. And then, since this is a negative, this is going to be a negative, so the 13 will be a negative, and then this will become a positive. So it flips those signs into that negative. I probably should have started. Yeah, you're good. Sorry, I thought I said that too. I didn't see it right yet. Nothing to see here. I drive by when I come up highways. There's a Yeti or like a Sasquatch that they cut up, and he's like flipping the bird to like he's got his middle finger. Like and I drive by and I'm always I don't understand like he's huge. Like I mean it's just
it's a
away. And that was a little bit tricky because some of you guys saw, I think, the negative here. But I want to move this away, so to undo it, I have to subtract 18x. 18 minus 18 is nothing. So I have a negative 2y. But then remember, these aren't like terms because they have different, one has a variable, one doesn't. So I'm just going to write it as 26 minus 18x. And then to get that 2, or that y alone, I have to get rid of that negative 2. So I'm going to divide by negative 2, which means I need to divide both of these by negative 2. So I get 26 divided by negative 2 is a negative 13. And then a negative negative is going to be a positive 9x. Okay? So we'll keep doing some more. Let me grab maybe one that is more straightforward. See if we can. So let's solve for y again. Let's get you guys your confidence back up here. So let's do. All right, crazy, get crazy here. Hopefully this is not difficult, but I mean for this to not be difficult. So if you're like, really, is that all it is? Yes, that's all it is. But I should have started with this one. Tore off the band-aid a little more slowly than I did. Yeah, that's it. That's it. You got it. Thank you. Good work. Yeah, that's it. So with this, that x is then gone. And then yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, you're good. I know, it's weird getting used to this. Yes, you're good. Yep, that's it. Yeah, so guys, this is the way I should have started with you guys. A little more ease into this. So I want to get the y alone. So I'm just going to move this 5x over. And so it'll just be 9 minus our 5x. And that's it. You combine those, you just leave the y alone. That's all we had to do there. All right, so let's make it a little more difficult again. Because now I know you can, again, I'll try to ease into it a little bit better. Yeah, let's still solve for y. So let's solve for y here. Again, I'm up to already 6 solve for y's that I told you guys we'd do.
Yep. 6.
You're counting?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Of course you would. This one works out to be pretty nice in terms of the numbers, so hopefully. Yeah, no, you're good. You have to move it forward and then divide by 2. Yes. So that's the second step. Yep, good work. Got it. Good work, guys. When you move 4x over, it's going to make it like this over and just add it. So you do the opposite of it. So the y should have a 2 in front of it. There, you're good. So we're trying to get y alone. So you move the 4x over.
They light up.
Yep. Yeah, it actually be there. Just right. He's trying to take it away. I'm supposed to see that. So this is the next time you're going to add the correct. So then you'll have 2y on the left side. And then over here, those two can't go together. So you'll have 12 and then just write it like 6 plus. Yeah. And then oh, that's fine. I feel like so many things with our math. I feel like, no, sorry. So, like Mr. Sampson thought today I said an inappropriate word in the hallway, and I was like, it was the mask. It really was like, so now we can start blaming the mask for things. I do think like smart comments from students has gone down because I don't think I hear as many of them. So like if you're mumbling to yourself, like probably not hearing it. All right. So then be careful when you get home and your mask is off. So we move that 4x over, and then we're going to divide by 2. So it's being multiplied by 2. But both of these are divisible by 2. So 6 is divisible by 2, and so is the 4. So I distribute that as 3 plus 2x. And again, I can't combine those because they're not like terms. So let me grab one that's not divisible. So we're going to do a little bit tougher one here. And you can leave this one a couple of different ways. So again, still solving for y. Oh, I don't want to use that one. Yeah.
Well, you're gonna have a permanent stain.
Thank you. We didn't sleep real well last night. All right, so solve for y. And again, you guys can leave it in you can simplify as much as possible. So there's a couple of different ways you can leave this one. So just so you guys know, this one won't work out to be nice whole numbers. Ever tell you I once had a team teacher, like special ed teacher, and he had never written on the board because he was like absentee team teacher. And open house, he decides that's the time he's gonna write on the board, and he uses like these, and like all the parents are like cringing so loud, but I didn't want to stop him because it's like I had to clean the board after. I didn't have the heart to tell him. Yeah, so that's fine to leave it that way. So there's a bunch of different ways you guys can leave it. So. Only thing is, where did your x go? So you can move the x with the 5 here. So these are like terms. Oh, so yeah, you did decimals. You like the decimals. So yeah, you're good. That's fine. I just never think to leave it that way. Decimals are never like my go-to thing. You're good. I think this decimal's wrong. Can you check that? You're close. So I think you might divide it in the wrong order. I think your 10 turned into a 6 magic. But I can see why. So, okay, well, we want to get y. So move x instead. Yeah, that's fine. You can leave it that way. It's perfectly fine. Yep, that's fine. You can do decimals. You can do fractions. Yeah, that's good. Good work. Good work. Oh, yeah. I'm just here for work. Now, if you trying to 2 different fractions, I would probably say you can simplify this guy because it's a fraction you can simplify. But that'd be the only thing I would add to that. All right. So guys, I'll just quickly show you guys this one. So we're trying to get the y alone. So I move that 5x over. I have to move that together. I get 4y equals, those are not like terms, so I keep them separate. And then we're going to divide by 4. Now, you can leave it this way. So some of you guys left it like this. Perfectly fine with me. Some of you can't stand to leave it that way, so you divide each of them, and you get decimals. So you get y equals 2.5 minus 1.25x. That's perfectly fine. Now, if you broke it up as two separate fractions, I would ask that if you do this, that you do simplify that 10 over 4. So this becomes 5 over 2 minus 5 over 4x. So this is the other option, I think, between all of these. Okay? So let's clean up boards. So if you guys decide we want to go back first. And then next guys can go back. We're going to flip over the notes and you guys have a chance.
Can I ask what happened to
It might have been the back of the board. We can we can grab some spray.
Oh yeah. See, mine is like since I
That's a little bit better. Yeah, I don't know.
That would be horrifying. Imagine walking up and doing that. Oh my god.
Okay, guys.
He tries to excite conversation.
So guys, listen up, please. So this problem is trying to get us to realize maybe a time that you might want to solve a variable or equation for a particular variable. This is not a very complicated one, so you might be like, I don't know why you just wouldn't do the work with it, but I'll show you guys kind of how this works. So a car's fuel economy, so like when you talk about miles per gallon, you'll care a lot more about this when you have to pay for your own gas. But like if your car has good gas mileage is important. So E equals the miles divided by the number of gallons used. So how many miles per gallon I get when I drive my car versus like we have a van and then we have like a small little car that has like good gas mileage. So depending which car we take in, we're getting better gas mileage. So we want to solve this for M. That's our first question here. They want us to solve it for M. So how do I get M alone? Yeah, go ahead.
Multiply by G.
Multiply by G. So multiply by G. So G times E equals M. We have Jen. Now, why this is so good is because now they're going to give us some information. They say if Brian's car has an average fuel economy, so that's the E, of 30 miles per gallon, and he used 9.5 gallons of gas, how far did he drive? So if I was doing that again and again, using this new formula is going to be helpful. So they're telling me in this problem, they're telling me that E is 30 miles per gallon. They told us we use 9.5 gallons of gas. That's G. We want to find M, but the way we have the formula set up, it's already solved for M, so we don't have to do any kind of undoing with this formula. Again, this is a very simple formula, so you might be kind of like, it would have been easy to do anyway, but it makes it a lot easier. So G times E equals M. So I'm going to do 9.5 times 30, and that will give me M. that'll tell me how far he drove based off the number of miles per gallon and his gallon, like how far he can go on his one gas tank. So what did we get then? 285? And that is miles. So he can go 285 miles on 9.5 gallons at 30 miles per gallon. All right, the last three problems are actually just review problems on algebra, I like the solving equations, just so that doesn't get rusty, because that's the most important part of this chapter, is being able to solve those equations. So we'll take a few minutes to do those. And then, like I said, we are changing the homework slightly. Oh, it's actually right on your paper, now that I see it. My paper was wrong, so it should be 9 through 25 odds. That's correct, but sorry, my paper was different. So, just practicing some solving equation. What do you guys want to move first in letter A? Or do first, yeah. I would not move 5. What do you could do something with 5.
Well, plus 3x.
Oh, so you want to move the 3x. Okay, so he's saying let's move the 3x over first. And that'd been fine, yep. So x and 3x is going to be 4x. What I bypassed is I probably should have told you guys to do. Don't forget we can combine like terms. So what can we put together on the left side? 5 and 7 just get to go together, and they're on the same side of the equal sign, so that's just going to be 12. So now we want to get our x alone, so we're just going to divide by 4. Oops. So don't forget, we do know how to solve equations, so some we can solve like this. Today, a lot of what we're doing, we won't get a nice answer like these. Letter B, what do you guys want to do first? Distribute. What are we distributing in?
-1.
That negative 1's going in. So it's changing both of those signs. You're following along with us. What do you guys want to do next?
Combine.
Yeah, I'd combine those like terms. So 2 minus 7 is how much?
5.
What kind of 5?
Positive
Are you
5.
sure?
No, wait.
Negative 5, yeah, because it's 2 minus 7. There's more negatives than positives. Kind of like our temperature today. A little chilly. I saw somewhere that -0 was coming up on some people's temperature things. Like, no, like, I mean, like, somebody was saying it was going to be -0, which isn't a thing. Like, I mean, it's just 0. Like, but no, it was like, yeah, it was like -6.
Positive or -0.
yeah, yeah. -0 is that much colder. It's that bad. All right, now we want to move that 5 over. Now this one's going to be a fraction or a decimal, and that's fine. Don't let that scare you or worry that you did something wrong. I mean, it's possible, but in this case, we're okay. So I get 14 over 3, which is also like 4.6 repeating, right? So 4.7. We rounded. This next one, making you guys kind of dig out of your memory. What do we need to do here? Would not divide by x. What would you do instead? You can multiply by x. There's another method we have for this one. Do you guys remember that we can just, not that type of problem? We forgot about that already, right? So multiplying by x would work, but cross multiplying is probably the most like streamlined way to do that. So we have 3 times 2x minus 4 equals 7 times x. So don't forget about proportions, kind of a quick review of that. So we get 6x minus 12 equals 7x. we're going to move that 6x over. So we get a negative 12 equals 7 minus 6, which is just 1x. So x is just negative 12. Now, those of you guys who did say to multiply by x, that would have worked as well. It's just, we would have had a fraction over there, and that would have been a little bit of a mess. So I'd probably say cross multiplying is probably the most streamlined way to do it. I think it's multiply 3 times 4 around. You have 3 times 4 is 24. Would do it. All right, so homework is listed there for you guys. Just a reminder, we're going to start reviewing for our test, which our test will be on Monday. If you have not done it already, start locating all your notes. Remember, we do a notes quiz. We'll probably do that Thursday. But if you are, especially those of you guys at home, make sure you guys have all your notes, especially those of you coming back in person.